Hi, welcome to Paul's Stuff. This is my space on YouTube where I talk about all the things I love. Lots of Star Wars, lots of lightsabers, and today is another one of those kind of lightsaber instructional videos. So one of the things I get asked regularly is, how do I charge my Xenopixel lightsaber? Now, you know, mostly I work with Xenopixel lightsabers, so that's what I'm going to focus on here. Some of this relates to other sabers as well, but this is specifically for Xenopixels and how they work. So yeah, people will say to me, how do I charge it? How do I know it's fully charged? How do I know it's charging? So first of all, let's talk about the equipment you need. So when you get your new lightsaber, generally it will come with one of two charging cables. It will either have charging cable like this, which is a USB-C one, or it'll have a charging cable like this with a round plug rather than the USB-C. That'll vary from saber to saber, although most of the newer designs are actually beginning to use the USB-C ones. A lot of the older ones use that round connector, and there are still some of those around. But you'll get the cable with the saber. What you won't get with the saber is something to plug the cable into in terms of a charger. Now you can either use a standard USB socket on a computer. That's a USB-A, I believe. Or you can get a wall charger. I use these particular ones. You just need to make sure it's not one of the newer wall chargers that provide a lot of power to fast charge a phone. You want one that is just a standard slow charge for a phone. And the way to find that is to look at this printed stuff on the charger and find one that says its output is 5 volts and anywhere between 1 and 2 amps. I think these are 2.4 amp. That's absolutely fine. I think that's the standard for USB anyway, is up to 2.4. But you're looking for 5 amps, 5 volts rather, 1 to 2.5 amps, and that will be absolutely fine. You don't want to plug your saber into anything that provides more current than that, because it may damage it, and in fact it will come with warnings that you don't do that. But before we go on and look at charging as well, I'll talk a little bit about the batteries that come with Xenopixels. So they generally look like this. If you've got an RGB X board in your LGT saber, it'll come with a white battery. They're pretty much exactly the same. It's just that the Xenopixels batteries have a bit more, last for a bit longer. They have a higher milliamp hour rating. But all of the batteries that LGT supply with these sabers have a small circuit board on them which protects them from over discharging, overcharging and short circuits. So the battery itself will protect from all of those things. You don't need to worry about overcharging or over discharging the battery. You don't need to worry about shorting it out. You don't want to deliberately do any of those things, but if they do happen, the battery will protect itself. So let's have a look at what happens with a Xenopixel when you start charging it. So this is a standard Xenopixel saber, and sometimes you'll find that the charging ports are on the outside. On a lot of the older models particularly, you'll find that the charging port is up here with the button, and that can be either the round port or the USB-C. But a lot of the newer LGT sabers don't have an exposed charging port. So with those, generally what you do is unscrew the bottom end of the saber. I've just taken the pommel off of this one. And then somewhere you'll find your USB-C port. Generally it is a USB-C on these. They don't generally put that round port on these newer sabers. I guess USB-C is becoming a standard thing. So when you plug one of these in, the saber will tell you that it's charging. You get that sound that plays. So now you know this saber is charging. Now with a saber like this that doesn't have an illuminated button, the only indicator that you will get from the saber that it is fully charged is it will say ready. Now, I'm hoping one of these two sabers might do that while we're talking about it. I'm going to leave them charging, and hopefully you'll hear that ready as well. It does only say it once, so if you're not watching the saber charge, you may miss it. But again, it's no biggie if it overcharges a little bit from that point, because the battery will stop itself from being damaged. So once again, when you plug in your standard Xenopixel saber, it says charging, and it plays a little sound. It does the same on the round charging ports. Now when I plug this one in, I've actually got custom sounds for charging on all of my lightsabers. If you want to know how to put custom sounds on for charging, then you need to check out my my video on customizing the SD card for your Xenopixel lightsaber. I'll leave a link in the description for that. So this one won't say charging, it will play a different sound. As well as the sound, you can see the illuminated button has lit and it's pulsing. That will pulse until the battery is charged. Once the battery's charged, fully charged, it will also say ready, but it will also tell you that the battery is charged by this light not pulsing anymore. Okay, so that's that covers charging in hilt. What we mean by charging in hilt is that the battery stays in the hilt, hence in hilt. You may want to take the battery out to charge it. There are a couple of advantages to that. And indeed, some Xenopixel lightsabers, you have to take the battery out to charge them. There is no charging port on the saber itself. What I suggest you do in those circumstances is get yourself a battery charger like this. So this is designed for 18650 batteries. The batteries that come with Xenopixels are 18650 lithium ion batteries. This will charge any 18650 lithium ion battery. So you take the battery out of the hilt and you plug it in here. And as soon as we do that, you see we get a red charging light. That will change to green when it's fully charged. And we get some information about what's going on with the battery. We can see the figure at the bottom is how many milliamp hours are going into the battery. The little blue pointer, I don't know if you can see these, I can't really get them any closer because of where things are plugged in here. But there's a little blue pointer that's telling you how many amps the charger is putting into the battery. And then you have the white indicator which shows you the battery's voltage level, and that should go up to around 4.2 volts. They'll charge at anywhere between 0.5 and 2 amps, and the finishing voltage should go up to about 4.2 volts. So that's some of the advantage of this charger already, is that you can see all of that information with what's happening with your battery. When you're charging in the hilt, you're relying on the circuitry in the battery and the saber to do all of this monitoring for you. But with this charger, you can monitor what's going on with the battery. Also with chargers like this, sometimes you might not want to use your saber for a long time. And lithium-ion batteries are best stored with a storage charge, so a charge of about 60%. It's not a good idea to store them with the batteries fully charged. And this will allow you to change the settings so that you can put a storage charge on the battery. It'll charge it up to about 60% and then stop. And that is ideal if you're not going to use the battery for a long time. So yeah, that pretty much covers all you need to know about charging your batteries for your Xenopixel lightsaber. If you got a lightsaber hilt that didn't come with a charging port on the hilt, remember I said some of them come where you have to take the battery out to charge it. LGT will supply a battery charger with it. Now your charge cable just plugs into that, and that will then give you a single battery charger. Has a little light on it. The light goes out or turns from red to green once the battery is fully charged. They're fine, they work perfectly well, but if you're going to charge your batteries outside of the saber, it might well be worth investing in a smarter charger. So there we go. I think I've covered everything we need to in terms of charging the batteries on your lightsaber, on your Xenopixel lightsaber. As I say, some of these things will cross over to other lightsabers, but this video is specifically about Xenopixels. I hope that answers some of your questions about charging your Xenopixel lightsaber. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. It's great when people decide that they want to come back and see more of what I'm doing. It always ceases to amaze me that anybody does, but people do find it helpful and come back. So if you're one of those, then please subscribe to the channel. If you click on the little notification bell, you'll get notifications of when I put new videos on the channel. So once again, hope that's been helpful. Hope you've learned something about charging your Xenopixel lightsaber, and I'll see you again next time on Paul's Stuff. Cheerio.